She believed the hardest thing she would ever do was sign her life away to a scary monster to save her sick sister. She was completely wrong. He asked for her full obedience, her whole future, and her freedom. But his one rule that could never be broken became the thing that broke both of their dark worlds apart. The steady beeping sound of the heart monitor was the only noise holding Madeline Hayes to the real world. The air inside room 412 at New York Presbyterian Hospital smelled strong like strong cleaning chemicals and sad, fading hope. In the small hospital bed lay her 19-year-old sister, Chloe. Her skin looked pale like old paper. Her breathing was weak and rough. A strong kind of blood cancer called acute myeloid leukemia had badly damaged her body's defenses. Normal treatments with medicine had stopped working. Madeline was 26 years old. She had tried every possible way to help. She used up all her saved money. She sold their parents' small house in the suburbs. She borrowed as much as she could on many credit cards. She even asked strangers online for help, but it only paid for a short time of Chloe's special care. Earlier that same morning, Dr. Arthur Pendleton took Madeline into the clean hallway outside the room. His eyes looked very tired and sad from his job. "Make her comfortable, Maddie," he said softly. "We are now talking about only a few days. I am very sorry." But Madeline would not let her sister become just a memory. Her strong need for help led her into the hidden, rough parts of the city that most people never see. Another worried family member waiting in the hospital hallway quietly told her a secret name: Dominic Croft. To most people, Dominic Croft was a very rich man who stayed away from others. He bought and sold many big buildings in Manhattan and did not appear in public much. But in the city's secret and desperate places, people called him something else. They said he was like an old story. He was a dangerous hunter. He was known as the Vampire King of the Eastern Seaboard. People said Dominic Croft could cure any sickness in a normal person. The cure came from his own blood that never died, but he never asked for money. He only traded in souls and deep promises. A secret helper named Leo Gallagher set up the meeting. Madeline got a chance to meet him. She was told to come to a quiet, well-guarded big house far in the Hudson Valley, exactly at midnight. Heavy rain fell hard as Madeline stood in front of the tall iron gates of the Croft estate. She was wet all the way through. She shook not just from the cold October wind, but from deep fear inside her heart. The big wooden doors of the large house opened. A quiet servant dressed very neatly led her through hallways that were not very bright. Old wall hangings from many years ago covered the walls. A soft smell like sweet herbs and metal filled the air. The servant took her into a very big library room. Dominic Croft sat near a strong fire in the fireplace. He held a glass with dark red liquid in it. He did not look like a scary monster. He looked perfect in a way that could cause trouble. Dominic had strong, fine face features like old royalty. His eyes were sharp and gray like charcoal, and they seemed to see deep inside her. His dark hair was neat and perfect. He wore a nice suit in dark gray that probably cost more money than Madeline could earn in her whole life. "Madeline Hayes." His voice filled the big room. It sounded smooth like soft dark cloth, but it carried the heavy power of someone who was completely in charge. "I hear you want to make a deal," he said. Madeline tried to speak, but fear made her voice catch. "My sister." She forced herself to walk closer and look straight into his strong eyes. "She is dying. I know what you are. I know what you can do. Please. I will give you anything you want." Dominic put his glass down carefully. He stood up from his big leather chair. He moved so smoothly and fast that it did not seem like normal human movement. In one quick moment, he stood very close to her, only inches away. The room felt much colder suddenly. Close up, she noticed his chest did not move. He did not breathe like people do. People are quick to give everything when they have nothing left, Dominic said in a low voice. He raised one cold, white hand and gently touched the side of her face. His touch made her whole body shake hard. I can heal Chloe. Just one small drop of my blood will fix her broken body cells. She will wake up tomorrow morning with no sign of the sickness at all. She will live a long, healthy, normal life like other people. Madeline felt a big sob coming up in her throat. What is the price? She asked. You, Dominic answered in a plain, clear way. Tomorrow you will leave the hospital and disappear from her life forever. You will come live in my house. You will belong to me, Madeline. Your thoughts, your body, and your whole self will be mine. You will be my friend in this dark world. You will be my property. You will never see sunlight again, and you will never talk to Chloe again. She will think I left her, Madeline whispered. Tears started falling from her eyes. She will hate me. She will be alive to hate you, Dominic said in a hard but honest way. That is what sacrifice feels like. Madeline closed her eyes. She pictured Chloe's weak, sleeping face in the hospital bed. There was no real choice. I accept, she said. Dominic's eyes grew darker. The black centers became very big until they almost covered the gray parts. We have a strong agreement then, he said. But there is one rule, Madeline, one condition you can never break while you serve me here. She got ready for something terrible, like him asking for her blood all the time, or painful orders. You are human, and you will stay human, he said. Dominic stepped back. His voice became very quiet and dangerous. No matter what happens in this house, no matter what you see, no matter how much you might want it later, you must never, ever offer me your blood. If you bleed for me, if my teeth break your skin, the agreement ends. The special help in your sister's body will disappear, and the cancer will take her life within 1 hour. Madeline looked confused. You are a vampire. Why would you not want my blood? Dominic turned away from the fire. His wide shoulders looked tight. Because I am a king, Madeline, he said softly. I have spent 300 years learning to control my great hunger. If I taste the blood of someone who gives it willingly with a good heart, I will lose control of myself. I will take all of it from you, and your sister will die because of that. That is my only rule. Never test me with it. The wonderful healing became big news in medical books and papers. Dr. Pendleton could only call it a sudden and amazing recovery that no one expected. In 24 hours after Madeline's late-night deal, Chloe's body signs became steady. In 48 hours, her blood counts became normal. By the end of the week, Chloe sat up in bed, laughed, ate food, and asked where her big sister was. She left a letter that looked real, saying she took a very good secret job far away in Dubai to pay all the hospital bills. She told Chloe to live her life fully and said they could not talk much because of the strict rules of the new job. It broke Madeline's heart into many small pieces. But knowing Chloe could breathe and live on her own made the deep pain something she could carry. Madeline's new life was inside a large, fancy home with old-style dark beauty on top of the tall Croft Tower in Manhattan. The windows had special dark covers that stopped all sunlight. The whole big apartment stayed in soft, always evening light. For the first 3 months, living with the Vampire King felt strange and full of opposites. It was like a soft prison made of nice things. Madeline could use a huge room full of books. There was an inside garden with plants. Chefs who worked only at night made wonderful food for her. Her closet had many soft, expensive clothes made of smooth silk and warm cashmere. Dominic was not the mean monster she expected. He was surprisingly polite and proper. They spent evening times together in his private room for work and reading. He would read very old books or handle his big business. She would sit on a soft couch and read or paint pictures. They talked about old times in history, about art, and about how people are. Dominic knew so many things. He had a quiet, dark sense of humor that surprised Madeline often. But he kept a careful distance from her. He never came closer than 3 feet. If she entered a room, he would move away a little, without saying it. The one big rule stayed heavy between them: never offer your blood. Madeline soon learned that Dominic still had to eat to stay strong. One night late in December, she woke up to quiet voices in another room. She walked softly down the hall and looked around the corner. A beautiful woman in a red dress knelt in front of Dominic. His sharp teeth showed, and his eyes glowed with a strong silver light. With a fast move, he bit the woman's neck. The woman did not scream in pain. She made a sound of pleasure, lost in his power. Madeline thought she would feel scared and upset. Instead, a strong feeling of jealousy burned inside her. She went back to her room, troubled by her own feelings. She was his prisoner. She should not care who he touched or fed from. As more months passed and became a full year, the quiet life together slowly broke down the walls between them. Their nice talks turned into deeper talks about real feelings. Dominic told her about his life as a normal man long ago in the 1700s. He spoke of a big betrayal that made him into what he was now, and the heavy loneliness of living many years after everyone he loved was gone. Madeline told him stories about growing up with Chloe. She cried quietly in the low light. For the first time, Dominic broke his own rule about distance. He gently brushed a tear from her cheek with his cold thumb. A strong feeling passed between them. It was scary, but also very powerful. Madeline was falling in love with the monster who owned her. Dominic, with all his old self-control, looked at her with deep hunger that was not about blood. Their careful balance broke on a warm, wet night in July. Dominic had an enemy, a younger and mean vampire named Rowan Dempsey. Rowan wanted to take control of the hidden groups in the city. Dominic went to talk about sharing territory and told Madeline to stay safe in a special locked room. When the elevator made its sound many hours after midnight, Madeline ran out anyway. Dominic came into the front hall, leaving a line of thick dark blood on the clean white floor. His perfect clothes were torn. Big cuts went across his chest and neck. They glowed with a bad green light. "Dominic!" She slid across the floor to hold him as his legs failed. His body felt colder than usual. "Stay back," he said with a rough, painful voice. He pushed her away weakly. His eyes looked cloudy with hurt. "Rowan used special blades with old blood and silver. It is poisoned." "Let me help you. I can call Leo or someone," she said. "No one can help," he answered. He coughed more dark blood. His breathing sounded like the terrible sounds Chloe made at the end. "The poison stops my body from healing. I am dying, Madeline." "You cannot die. You are supposed to live forever," she cried. She took off her sweater and pressed it hard on the big cut on his neck. "Only pure living power can fight this dead blood poison," he whispered. His eyes started to close. "But there is no time. The poison is in my blood now." Madeline looked at him. The truth hit her hard. Pure living power meant human blood. Her blood. She looked at his pale, beautiful face. This was the man who saved her sister. This was the man who kept her safe. This was the man she had fallen deeply in love with in secret. If he died, Rowan would take over, and no one would protect her or their life. But his rule rang in her head like a warning of death. If his teeth broke her skin, the agreement would break, and the cancer would kill Chloe fast. "Dominic, drink from me," Madeline begged. She pulled her hair to one side and showed the strong pulse in her neck. His eyes opened wide with weak silver light. "No, you know the rule. If I take your blood, your sister's healing ends. She will die, Madeline. You will lose her." Madeline cried loudly with tears running down. She held his cold, bloody face in both hands and made him look at her. "I am not losing you too. Please, Dominic." "I forbid it," he growled. He fought his own strong instincts. His teeth grew long as he smelled her fear and fast blood. He tried to push her away again, but he had no strength. "I will not let you kill her for me. I love you too much," he said. The words stopped her heart for a moment. He loved her. Madeline looked at the man dying in her arms. She thought of her sister far away, living a happy life without knowing. She was stuck in a terrible choice with no good answer. To save the man she loved, she would have to end her own sister's life. The smooth marble floor in the front hall was slippery with Dominic's dark poisoned blood. Madeline's hands shook hard as she held his head in her lap. The green light from the bad wounds spread fast, moving up his neck like glowing plants. His breathing was now very short and painful. His skin looked like wet gray ash. The strong words of his rule sounded again and again in her mind, like a final bell. But as Dominic's silver eyes rolled back and he started to slip into true final death, Madeline knew she could not let him go. She loved her sister, but Chloe was safe and far away. Dominic was dying right here in her arms. He was dying because he fought to protect their home. "I am sorry, Chloe," Madeline cried. The words hurt as they came out. "I am so sorry." Dominic kept his mouth tightly closed. Even when he was very weak and confused, his strong will fought the monster inside to protect her. Madeline looked around the hall quickly. She saw a broken fancy glass vase near the door. It fell when Dominic came in hurt. She grabbed a sharp piece of the glass, holding the safe end tight. She went back to him. Her heart beat very fast. She did not wait or think more. She pressed the sharp glass on the palm of her left hand and pulled it across. A sound of pain came from her mouth as the skin opened and bright red blood flowed out fast. The smell of metal filled the warm air. Dominic's body shook hard. The smell of her good, willing human blood hit him like a big wave. His long teeth came down fully. A deep animal sound came from his chest. But he was too weak to move because of the poison. "Drink," Madeline said. Her voice broke with fear and sadness. She put her bleeding hand right against his open, bloody mouth. "Dominic, please drink." For one long, painful second he fought it. His eyes opened and looked at her with pure horror. But the old survival need of a 300-year-old strong hunter could not be stopped. As her warm blood touched his tongue, nature took over. Dominic's hands grabbed her wrist strongly. He pulled her hand close and drank. It felt scary, but also very close and personal. Madeline felt a spinning feeling as her life power left her. But right away, the special body of the Vampire King started to work. The bad green light in his chest made a hissing sound and turned to steam. It disappeared under the power of her pure blood. The deep cuts on his neck started to close and heal very fast. Soon the gray color left his skin. His eyes became bright silver and looked straight into hers. He let go of her hand and took a big breath. The poison was completely gone. He was healed. But the quiet after that felt heavier than death. Dominic pushed himself back, moving away until he hit a heavy table. He looked at the blood on his lips, then at her bleeding hand. His face showed complete heartbreak. "What have you done?" he whispered. His voice shook in a way Madeline had never heard from the strong, calm, rich man. "Madeline, what have you done?" "I saved you," she cried. She grabbed an old scarf to wrap her hand tightly. "You killed your sister," he said. Dominic made a loud, angry sound that shook the windows. He covered his face with his hands. His shoulders moved with deep pain. "I told you the rule. The help is gone. The sickness will come back right away. The agreement is broken." Madeline fell to the floor. All her energy left, and heavy sadness covered her. She had done something she could never take back. She traded one life for another. "I could not let you die," she whispered, holding her knees. For the next 4 hours, they sat in complete, sad silence. Dominic would not look at her. He stayed trapped in his own guilt. When the sun started to come up over the city, sending soft gray light through the dark windows, Madeline knew she had to face what she chose. She walked to the phone in his study room. Her hands shook so much, she dialed the wrong numbers twice. Finally, she reached the cancer part of the hospital. "Nurse's station, this is Sarah," a happy voice said. Madeline spoke with a choked voice, leaning on the desk. "This is Madeline Hayes. I need to know about Chloe Hayes. Was she brought in tonight? Is she—" There was a short wait, with keyboard sounds. "Chloe Hayes, you are not listed as her main contact anymore, but I see her records. Chloe was here 2 days ago for her normal one-year check after recovery with Dr. Pendleton." Madeline felt cold all over. 2 days ago? But what about tonight? Did she get sick? Did the cancer come back? "No, sweetie," the nurse said, sounding confused. "Chloe is completely fine. Dr. Pendleton said her tests are all good. She even posted pictures from a concert in Brooklyn a few hours ago. Are you okay? You sound upset." The phone fell from Madeline's hand and hit the floor loudly. Chloe was not dead. The cancer did not come back. The special help did not break. Madeline turned slowly. Dominic stood in the doorway. He had heard everything with his strong senses. "She is alive," Madeline said. Shock made it hard to speak. "The agreement broke. I gave you my blood. Why is she still alive?" Dominic did not answer right away. He walked to the desk, picked up the phone, and put it back. When he looked at her, the scary king mask was gone. Only a deeply hurt man with mistakes remained. "Because vampire blood is not a magic spell, Madeline," he said softly. His voice carried many years of hidden sadness. "It is a change in the body. Once the human body is fixed, it stays fixed. There was never a magic string connecting her life to my teeth." Madeline stared at him as the words went deep into her tired mind. "Then the rule, the agreement, it was all a lie?" "Yes," Dominic said. The word fell heavily between them. It was a lie. Anger burned hot inside Madeline. She walked to him and pushed hard against his chest. He let her move him. His head lowered. "You lied to me," she shouted. The hurt went deeper than the cut on her hand. "You made me believe her life was in my hands every single day. You made me choose between you and her tonight. Why? If you didn't want my blood, why not just say no? Why make this painful trap in my mind?" "To protect you from me," Dominic shouted back. His own control finally broke. He held her shoulders with strong but not hurtful hands. "Because I knew what would happen if you stayed with me." He let go and walked back and forth like a trapped animal. "In 1842, in London," he started. His voice became rough and low. "I fell in love with a normal woman. Her name was Genevieve. She was like you, brave, very loyal, and ready to give everything. She found out what I was, and did not run away. She stayed. Vampires are the top hunters, Madeline. We are made to take. When a normal person gives their blood willingly to a vampire they love, it is stronger than any drink. It makes a deep bond. Genevieve gave me her blood, and I took it. But I could not stop. The hunger was stronger than my love. I took all of it while she lay on the floor of our room. I held her as she died. I knew the monster in me had killed the only good light in my long, sad life." He turned to her. One red tear ran down his pale face. "When you came asking to save your sister, I saw Genevieve's strong spirit in your eyes. I knew if I brought you into my world, you would love me, and in your loyal heart you would one day offer your blood. If I took it, I would lose control and kill you." Madeline's breathing changed as all the pieces came together. "So you made the biggest warning," she said quietly. Her anger turned into deep sadness. "I needed something you would never cross," Dominic said softly. "I knew you would put your sister's life first. I knew you would die for me, but you would never risk killing Chloe. It was the only way to keep you close without becoming the monster that would end you." Madeline looked at her wrapped hand, then at the man who told one huge, scary lie because he wanted to keep her safe from his own nature. He acted like a cruel bad guy, just so she would not become a victim of what he was. "But I did offer it tonight," she said, stepping closer. "And you drank." "I did," Dominic breathed. His eyes searched hers with worry. The hunger was there. The beast was there. But I stopped. I did not take all of you. Madeline touched his cold cheek gently with her good hand. You stopped because you are not the same man from 1842, Dominic. You spent hundreds of years building control. You built a big business. You saved my sister. You are a king, not a wild animal. The heavy, tight feeling that lived in the house for more than a year finally broke. Dominic pulled her into his arms. He hid his face in her neck and breathed her smell without the wild need to bite. Rowan Dempsey is still out there, he said against her skin. The real dangers of their world came back. Then you will handle him, Madeline said with strong voice. She stepped back and looked him in the eyes. She was no longer a scared prisoner making a deal for hospital bills. She was the woman who saved the strongest hunter in the area. You will break his group apart, Dominic, because no one threatens my family, and you are my family now. A dark, strong smile came to Dominic's lips. It was the smile of a king who had finally found his queen. Leo Gallagher knows where Rowan is hiding in a warehouse in Hell's Kitchen, Dominic said. His eyes flashed silver, but this time it was controlled and smart. He will not see tomorrow night. The soft prison was gone. The rule that could not break was broken. Madeline had given her life to save her sister. But she learned the vampire who took it needed someone to save him too. As Dominic got ready to fight for their future, Madeline walked to the heavy dark curtains and pulled them closed tight to keep their safe place. She was no longer trapped in the dark. She chose to rule it with him. This story teaches us important things about life, even though it is made up. Love can make people do very big and hard things, like giving up their own freedom. But real love also needs truth and trust. Dominic lied because he was scared of hurting Madeline, but the lie caused more pain. It is better to talk openly about our fears. Sacrifice is powerful, but we should think carefully before choosing one life over another. Madeline showed great courage when she gave her blood to save Dominic. It reminds us that sometimes breaking a rule out of love can lead to growth and better understanding. The story also shows how people or creatures can change over time. Dominic learned control over many years and stopped himself from hurting her. This teaches hope. Even if someone has a dark past, with time and effort, they can become better. We learn that family can mean more than blood ties. Dominic became her real family through choice and care. In real life, building strong relationships based on respect, not fear, makes us happier and safer. Always remember, honesty, courage, and growth are keys to overcoming hard times.